So, if you're in the chat, predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think is going to be this week's champion. You have 2 minutes, around 2 minutes or so upon hearing this message to place your bets, so get them in while they are hot. And again, this is going to be a little bit of a, I wouldn't say a coin flip, but it's going to be a difficult prediction to make. We were praising one player for having the best PvP in Korea. That is true, but again, no one has a 100% win rate completely, and this can still be a back and forth. I want to believe that we can get a more dynamic matchup than what we had in the semifinals, but here we go, spawning in the top right-hand corner of Alkione. We have the red Protoss player representing Club NV. It is Creator. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the South Korean Protoss player, the blue Protoss. Thought by many to have the best PvP in South Korea. He just 2-0'd Classic. It is NightMare. This is it. This is his matchup. This is his time to shine. Likewise, Creator. Fun fact, just came back from a bit of a holiday. If you follow Creator on Instagram, you would have seen that Creator, he went to Japan over the weekend. As IEM Katowice was going on, Creator, he did take a flight over to Japan, was enjoying himself, and I was asking him because I wasn't sure. I was like, are you playing from Japan right now? Are you in Japon, baby? But Creator, he did let me know that he just got back to Korea. I believe a couple of hours ago, he did return to Korea just in time for the ESL Open Cup. So he's back at home, back at his regular setup, ready to duke it out here in this tournament. And I mean, he 2-0'd Oliveira. Very impressive here by Creator. Arguably taking down the strongest player or the favorite player in this tournament. Ooh, as the probe does fall. Now, Creator did go for a 2-gate opener, so did NightMare. Both pylons have been thrown down. No one is going for a proxy, or no one is faking a proxy pylon. And we have double Adept from NightMare. We have double Stalker from Creator. So, NightMare is going to be the aggressor. He's going to be shading across the map, looking for economic damage. Meanwhile, Creator, he's going to be building up a more robust army. Stalkers in a head-to-head fight, they can and will kill Adepts if they can keep up. Here we go, Adepts are shading across the map. Now we can see that we only made 2. Some Protoss players like to invest and make 4, 6, even up to 8 Adepts. Here we only have 2, getting into Stalker production thereafter. Stalker production on the way. Creator setting up here in his own main base, following up with double Sentry. Very safe opener here out of Creator. With double Sentry, the power here is we have shield batteries, sure, shield batteries. We have force fields, sure, but more importantly, we have hallucinations. Hallucinations are very important in PvP. We can see both Creator and NightMare investing in these sentries. With these hallucinations, we can confirm whether or not we're going all in, what kind of tech we're going for. Stargate openers, Robo openers, Twilight Councils, DTs, Dark Shrine. All these things need to be scouted, which is why sentries are, again, so much so a bit of the, let's say, the bread and butter. That's it, the bread and butter of PvP for the most part. Very commonplace. As NightMare, he does shade into the main base. Oh, the wall is not a wall. The wall was wide open. We do scout. We do confirm the tech. We get eyes on the Twilight Council. Adepts go down, but that is 4 probe kills. An insane amount of damage is dealt. Meanwhile, Creator did get across the map. He was able to confirm of course, the tech, the opener, the 2 gateways, and the Nexus as well. I believe we didn't see the Twilight Council. We did not. So Creator, he's not aware of the opener of NightMare, of the opening tech choice, but he is aware of the expansion, so he knows he's not being all in. So Creator should be feeling safe overall. You can see he's getting in position to deny any other future hallucination scouts, but NightMare doesn't need to go for one because he did already confirm the Twilight Council. He can delay it. Is now being sent out. We'll see if he can avoid the units here of Creator. He has to confirm whether Blink is being researched or whether there's a Dark Shrine. And how many gateways. There's a lot to scout. And he comes in. Creator, slightly out of position here, does move out, which means Hallucination is able to confirm everything. Does see the researching Twilight Council. Third base on the way for NightMare. Third base on the way for Creator. The armies do avoid each other here in the center, as NightMare does retreat. And Creator does push. Does move out. Behind this, we're going for a Robo Forge. Very tech heavy here for Creator. He's working towards a longer game, towards eventually +1. NightMare going for a slightly later Forge, but overall, both players are headed in the same direction. I would say that Creator has certain advantages, of course, with the faster third and the faster Forge, but he does have a worker deficit because of all those dead workers earlier, because of the Adept harass. Speaking of, Adepts do shade in, but they're not going to get much done. They kill maybe one probe, 2 probes go down. Okay damage. Okay damage here from a Creator. Meanwhile, a big shout out to, of course, Thriving GG. Papi. Oh. Big shout out to Thriving GG in the chat. Thank you so much for the raid. Hope you had a great stream. Hope you had a great ladder session. Hope you enjoyed the weekend of IEM Katowice. It was a beautiful tournament. I was lucky enough to be there live. I was in the crowd. Ooh. I was even able to get some gifts as well. If you happen to be following on Twitter or even in Discord, then you'd see like the jersey that I got, or I say the jersey, the shirt that I got, and you know, I shout out to the admin team, shout out to the ESL admins for the gift that I got at the end of the event. I was not expecting it. I was not expecting it, but I do appreciate it. I'm gonna have to frame it. That's the thing. When I get back home to Australia, I do have to invest into like a frame. I do have to take care of it. It's definitely valuable memorabilia and a great way to remember my first Premier tournament. So I have to take care of it. But a big shout out to Thriving GG. Behind this, 4th bases are on the way for both players, and we're settling into a longer game. Not much aggression here. Everyone's taking up into charge, into +1, into eventually Archon production. We are working towards those later stages. We do see Creator just vying for map control, fighting for the Zonaga. I mean, both players are. This Creator is going to be pulling back. And we are just, heading in towards a solid 4-base economy here. The most passive PvP that we've had so far, but it makes sense on Alcyone. Again, this map does favor longer macro play. I'm sure on some of the smaller maps we would have more aggression. But right now we're just building up towards a longer and longer game. No one has teched up towards Archons yet, I believe. Yeah, no Templar Archives from either player yet. We should be seeing one soon. For now, we're sticking to mainly a gateway-centric army. Stalkers do keep up with each other. Charge is revealed. Both players do have it. And NightMare will pull back. Waiting for his Warp Prism. Waiting for +2. +2 is neck and neck for both players. And there it is. Templar Archives. Finally on the way for NightMare. We should soon be seeing it from Creator as well. For the time being, he is avoiding it. Going for a big warp in of Zealots. Is moving out NightMare. He does see the army. Did have the Zonaga. And he's preparing back at home. Has his own Zealot reinforcements. We are seconds away from that Templar Archive. Seconds away from Archons. As NightMare takes a 5th. Attempting to harass is forced back by Creator. Army sizes are comparable. Creator does have a higher army size overall, but NightMare has the defender's advantage. He has a shield battery, he has overcharge, and he has Archons. Archon, he only has 1, which is concerning. That's a lot of Zealots. A lot of Zealots for only 1 Archon. As it is being dragged away, we do force a recall. Prism does come back. Overcharge is forced. And the overcharge is about to run out. Uh-oh. It is about to run out here. Second Archon's on the way. Nice snipe there on the Prism. Prism goes down. Good target firing here on that Archon. Archon does fall as well. And a lot of these Zealots, sorry, a lot of these Stalkers are exposed to the Zealots. NightMare being forced back. But on the left-hand side, he does come out on top. He collapses here on top of the Immortals. The Blinks, they avoid. They do expose the Immortals. They do go down. Creator losing a lot in the retreat. Again, the defender's advantage was just too strong. With those Warpins, with the overcharge. Creator reinforcing with more Stalkers. Both players working towards second Robos and Robotics Bays Disruptors. Both players, they want to head towards Disruptor production. NightMare does have that base over his opponent. NightMare, he is ahead in army supply. He is moving out. Doesn't quite commit. Yeah, so it looks like we're just waiting for Disruptors to come into play. NightMare about to max out as well. He should be pushing, he should be flexing his army supply lead. If he doesn't, then Creator will recover. He will recover with his +3 on the horizon. Disruptors also on the way. This is still anyone's game. I would say that NightMare is ahead, that is true, but this is not insurmountable for Creator. Go base has been spotted. Go away should be cancelled. Oh, that's a kill, not a cancel. 400 minerals down the drain. Big pick off there for NightMare. A big pick off for Creator to get that Nexus. NightMare does take a big blow. Trying to retake that gold. Teleron by the left-hand side. NightMare going to be responding with his own Zealots. Creator has maxed out, and Creator has his own Disruptors. They have arrived. Both armies are maxed. Now, because NightMare has a better economy, he will have a larger bank to work with. That is true. But Creator has a larger army supply, as he has less workers. So there's a bit of a give and take. Creator could maybe take a better fight overall. But the reality is this is going to come down to the Disruptors. We have 4v4. 4 Disruptors for both players, for both Creator and NightMare. How good are the Novas going to be? Oh. Speaking of, first Nova goes off. We force out a Blink. Blink is forced. Another Nova will connect on a Disruptor. Good trade so far here by NightMare. Another Nova connects with the Stalkers. Overall, NightMare trading better here with his army. Zealot's going to be clashing towards top left. Bit of a fumbled Nova there from Creator. Doesn't connect with much. So both players will zone each other away. Well, big Nova will not connect from Creator either, who will lose another Disruptor. Again, overall, NightMare just taking better fights. But is it going to be enough? Creator, he does evacuate. He gives up on the base. He knows he just traded too poorly. And he will lose this Nexus. DT comes in. Uh-oh. You have a Dark Shrine. Oh! The Nova does overshoot. Doesn't connect. NightMare will pull back. Observers are on the way. DT forces back the main army. And we do see Creator throwing down a Stargate. We are getting ready for potentially Sky Toss, the late game. Before that happens, NightMare, he gets into the main, depowers for these gateways, and these Zealots are getting out of hand. Yes, there is a DT, but it's going to take a long time to clean all this up. Damage is being dealt. Top left, Zealots, they're wreaking havoc here on top of that Nexus, and at the same time, Creator, he gets deflected. Tries to go for his own run by. Can maybe take down the gold. Looks like he will defend his own Nexus. The main Stalker army forced back. Fleet Beacon on the way for NightMare. He's working towards Sky Toss. So is Creator. He's trying to, but so much was oh my god. The Zealots. We're going for a big warping into the main base. DT is alongside Zealots, and we keep everything depowered. NightMare one step ahead, crippling the production, the economy, and ahead in the tech, soon to be in the army quality as well. In his overall composition, moves out across the map, going straight for the Nexus. Oof. Big connections here with these disruptors. Oh, the blinks! We do avoid the Novas, but the base goes down. NightMare backing off, rotating around. Oh my god, still depowered in the main. DT's going ham. A little bit too much chaos is ensuing. Again, NightMare, he's in his element. Takes down the observers. Disruptors are pushing forward. Oh, Novas go off. Not quite connecting. Big Zealot counterattack. We are just containing Creator here onto 4 bases. He cannot expand. Ooh, oh my god, that was clutch. Very close blink there from NightMare. Now, Creator, he will kill 15 probes. He will deny mining here at the gold base. He does deal some economic damage. Zoning back the army. Ooh, big connection. Disruptors are going down. Good target firing here out of NightMare. He shuts down every single disruptor. And not a single Nova connects. And NightMare, he's just dominating this fight. Dominating this mid to late game, to be honest. And he never needed a Sky Toss. Again, he's got Stargates, he has Fleet Beacons, but he does not need it. And Zelsa coming in for a flank. Creator, he can take a fight. He can take a better fight here. Novas are just constantly going up, constantly connecting here on these stalkers. And NightMare, he will clean this up. GG gets called. NightMare takes game number 1. Whew. GG. Again, NightMare just with a better economy, with better engagements overall, able to be assertive, able to just flex his disruptors. And again, he was even ready for a longer game. Remember, he already had 3 Stargates and a Fleet Beacon. He was ready for the Skytoss transition if he needed it, but he didn't. Didn't even need it. GG, well played. NightMare, he takes game number 1. But that was only game 1. And as I did mention earlier, Alcyone lends to these longer, later games. Some of these smaller maps, we should be seeing a more chaotic game here, a more chaotic series, a more aggressive game 2 onwards. Oh boy. Here we go. Meanwhile, big shout in the chat to Rodin80. Oh my god. Bappy. Here we go. Big shout out to Rodin18 in the chat for resubscribing for 4 months. Thank you, Papi. Thank you so much for resubscribing. Thank you so much for the support. We do appreciate it. Gracias, Papi. Gracias. I'm catching him in the chat. Rayro in the chat. You're still in Katowice. Your dedication is astonishing. Much appreciation. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yes, I'm still in Katowice. Well, still technically in Poland. I'm next to Katowice, technically. In Poland. Always casting, Papi. Always. But we're getting into game number 2 here and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Hardlead of the grand finals of ESL Open Cup Asia 214. We have our red Protoss representing Club NV down in this series, but it's merely game 2. Still plenty of opportunities to come back. Let's get into it. It is Creator. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Protoss player representing himself, currently teamless, but arguably with the best PvP in all of South Korea. It is NightMare. Leading the series 1-0. Again, best of 5, plenty more games are ahead of us. See in the chat, do you play or do you just do replays? Sometimes we do replay casts, but this event is live. This is a live broadcast. We do mostly live events. We only cover replays if we can't cast something live. So something like ESL Open Cup Americas, we cast ESL Asia live, ESL Europe live, but Americas we most likely won't cast live, so we'll do that by replays. Likewise, we always used to cast KSL live, the Korean StarCraft League. But because I'm currently in Poland, I will most likely be covering KSL by replays as well, as it's just not the best time to cover live here in Europe. So we'll be most likely having a replay cast for that, for example. But mostly live. Not frozen, merely a snapshot of light at his lightest. Yes, exactly. Esther Thorn in the chat. You're exposing yourself, Bappy. Aye. If you haven't noticed that I've been frozen, that means you haven't been watching for the past 2 weeks. So I've been casting for the past 2 weeks here in Poland, and unfortunately, I do not have a working webcam at the moment. I will try to get that going though, and once I do, then we can get cams going once again, and I won't have to rely on this lovely image that was provided to me by some fans in the chat. I was given a screenshot and may as well use it. It's beautiful, Pipe. I'm so happy. I like it. I like the casting. Aye. As we're settling into this, and we are, of course, expanding. Going to be 2 gate openers into expand. No 1 base all-ins. Shield batteries are on the way. And we have our tech of choice. Interesting. So we do have a Stargate opener out of Creator. The Probe Scout does confirm the Stargate. Meanwhile, NightMare going for a Twilight Council opener. The Hallucination does confirm the Twilight Council. So a standard opener out of NightMare is going for Blink Stalkers. Meanwhile, Creator is looking for economic damage. The purpose of the Stargate is typically for Oracles in this matchup. Oracles are designed to get into mineral lines, to cripple the economy, to give you an economic edge here in this mirror matchup, in this PvP. Now, the downside, late blink. The quality of the army, the quality of the Stalkers are going to be worse as a result for a little bit. There's going to be a period, a window, where NightMare has blink and Creator doesn't. Creator has to be very careful with these Oracles. He has to preserve them. He has to, of course, gain value with them. If he loses them too soon, that will trigger a counterattack. These Oracles, they don't just represent potential economic damage, but they also force NightMare to keep supplying his mineral lines. Ooh, as Creator, interesting. Okay, so typically, the Hallucination Scout does come in, but we have a proxy and it is not scouted. So I was going to say that usually when you go for a Stargate opener, you invest into multiple Oracles. The reason for this is that 1 shield battery keeps your mineral line safe against 1 Oracle, not against 2. As you can out DPS the energy, the recovery of a shield battery. So we skip the 2nd Oracle for a proxy Dark Shrine. Dark Shrine is on the way. Hallucination Scout does confirm that there was no research on the Twilight Council. That's a little bit suspect. But NightMare, no detection. No Robo, no Stargate, no Forge. The longer this goes on without any form of detection, this could just be game. This could just be game over. NightMare is going for a proxy gateway. He's not making a Robo. There's no reason to throw down a Robo because he's going to commit here with a gateway to reinforce, not with a Prism. The game may... Oh, he comes across it. No! He does come across the Dark Shrine. It's going to be going down. It looks like it will barely finish. We can maybe warp in 1 wave of DTs. DTs are on the way, but we do come across this. And a Robo is in production. And I love it. You can see NightMare, he's throwing down pylons. He's walling off. He's reducing surface area. He's keeping this Robo alive. He comes in with some sentries. DTs will not get on top of this. Not anymore. Good read here out of NightMare. DT is waddling in, but there's only 1. And again, 1 DT cannot depower, cannot shut down this building. Good hold position micro as well. No way in. We have a shield battery. We have blink. We do hold. Oh, the force field as well. We're locking the DT in. We have the overcharge. We get us around. We force a recall as well on the Dark Templar. And now NightMare, he has a lot of momentum going his way. Blink is so heavily delayed here for Creator. He's working on a 3rd base, but NightMare is going for a counterattack. He's pushing. 3rd base is on the way. We are moving out. And looking at the army size here, we have 18 Stalkers to the 12 of Creator. We do have a Stasis Trap, though. The Stasis could come in clutch if we go close enough. Overcharge is popped. Good force fields here from both players, from NightMare as well, locking down some of these units. Yeah, trying to get out of range of that shield battery. Overcharge is running out, and there's just too many Stalkers here, and too much damage done to the base, and the Nexus is going to go down. The boys are being pulled. The boys are being pulled, and it looks like Creator is going to be able to hold on, not without losing 8 probes. Forcing back NightMare. As Creator, he holds, but not without a price. Behind this, NightMare, of course, building up, getting into more of his economy, getting into more probes. As NightMare is going to be building himself up as well. And the game is going to settle from here. Again, Creator, he was up against the ropes. Thankfully, he does survive. He does catch up when it comes to his own blink timing. We'll shut down the proxy. And we have to take a moment here to take stock. Okay, so both players are on 3 bases. Creator, he does hold on to the Nexus. That's important. The Nexus does survive. He does actually spend some of that energy to keep it alive as well. He does maintain a slight worker lead, ahead 5 workers compared to his opponent. Ooh, meanwhile, NightMare moving out across the map, going for a blink into the main. Thinks about it, but is spotted. Will pull back. Will pull back. And we are taking up in towards charge. No charge for Creator, but likewise, no upgrades, no +1 for NightMare. NightMare, no forge, no +1. As the game goes on, Creator will have a higher quality army. Creator can outscale NightMare. Once +1 kicks in, 4th base on the way as well. Again, NightMare not really thinking that far ahead. Is working on a 4th, but no forge. No forge as a single DT does slip in towards the main base. Probes are going down. We get 5 workers so far. Only 5 as DTs are being cleaned up. But NightMare evening up the worker counts, or just trying to stifle the lead that Creator has. NightMare does pull back. Now he does get into his own forge, into his own +1. Prism is still alive, by the way, and we get another DT warping into the main base. There is a cannon, but with enough Dark Temple, with enough Zealots, we could try and collapse on top of that cannon. And it looks like we are going for it. Oh, the surround! Good hold position there from Creator. Does get a surround on the cannon, but it looks like it may still go down. It's going to be close. Oh, it does fall. But we have detection. That was an expensive loss for NightMare. 3 DTs and 3 Zealots for 1 cannon and 2 probes, and the cannon is being rebuilt. Prism still alive. NightMare pulls back. Getting his 4th on the way. Now, Creator will have +1 kicking in. He could try to make use of this window. Not the largest of windows, but I appreciate that he just starts up +2 immediately. Does chrono it out. Does see the value in those upgrades. Working on, for the time being, just a purely gateway-based composition. Blink is on the way here for NightMare. Love to see it. Blink in production. Creator moving out on the right-hand side. And it looks like we may be in for a bit of a longer one here. I mean, sure, the early to mid game was very chaotic, which is what we expected at a hard lead, but the game is settling. The game is settling down. 4th base, now 5th base is on the way here for our players. we may find ourselves in another Disruptor versus Disruptor game 2, which I'm all for. It was great to see it in game number 1. Temple Archives on the way for Archon production. DTs, of course, can be morphed into Archons as well. Prism still outside the main. Still lurking. DT's pushing through the center. Creator, though, he's taking a more defensive stance. He isn't moving out. He's in position to deal with those ETs. Second Robo, the Bay is on the way. Disruptor production is on the horizon for Creator. Bay is now on the way for NightMare. Disruptor production also on the way for our blue Protoss. So we are getting some Disruptor versus Disruptor, some ball-on-ball action. What we love to see in PvP, of course. We already saw it once. We're going to see it again. Now, we did see NightMare with an economic advantage in game 1, and he has it again here in game number 2. Where NightMare, he actually invests into additional saturation, up to 73 probes. Oh, the Prism is going to go down for Creator. Rough loss for the red Protoss. He is moving forward. We do see a big Zealot counterattack on the right-hand side. Do we force a recall? Do we have enough to defend? Yeah, Archon is on the way. Shield battery overcharges popped. It looks like we will sort away those Zealots. Creator, he's holding. He's getting into Colossus. Okay. Gonna be mixing it up, going Colossus and Disruptor. Now, Colossi are an alternate way to deal with Zealots. Just like Archons, they can do amazingly. Meanwhile, the Zealots, they catch an Immortal. Big pick off. Immortal goes down. Nova goes off. Disruptor has been scouted. And Colossi can trade well against Gateway units, not against other Disruptors though. So we do get a surround and one Disruptor goes down. Big pick off there for NightMare. Very nicely done. Able to trade well. You see his main army rotating on the right hand side, looking at the vision of Creator. He does not see the movement. Does have a Zealot on the right, but he didn't miss the main army. And NightMare, he's going to be able to take down this base. Prism into the main. Prism does fall, but we get Zealots, a massive warp in into the main base, and we're going for a base trade. We're going for an all-out base trade here. Next side going to be falling, and NightMare can always recall. He can always recall back home. Creator, he has arrived. And we're committing. We are committing to the base trade. 20 probes go down. The Zealots, they just went ham, and NightMare, he just keeps on pushing. He finds the production. No shot. Robo goes down. The Bay as well. Big pickoffs here from NightMare. And Creator, he's backing off. He's turning back around. Kills one Nexus. He's going to take down the center base. But it looks like Creator, he's not actually committing here into the natural. Disruptors have arrived. He's not looking. He's not looking. Nova goes off. Big connection. And Creator's army supply does struggle as a result. I mean, comparable army size to be fair. But another Disruptor goes down. Creator kills 2 bases, but he also loses 2 DTs. They come in. That's a kill, not a cancel. Creator does have detection with his main army. Snipes the Observer. And Creator is coming in for a surround. He forces a recall. Big catch from Creator overall. Does force a recall. Kills a lot of Stalkers. NightMare has a slightly better economy. We're looking at the army size here. It's pretty close. We have 4 Disruptors. And we have 0 for Creator. He has a Colossus. I have to give the edge to NightMare. NightMare, he may be down in army supply, but these Disruptors, they pack such a massive punch. Is it enough, though? These 4 Disruptors, that's the lifeline that NightMare has. Did I say 4? I meant to say 6. Jesus. Creator, he does see the Disruptors. He rotates around. Nova's going to be going off. Ooh, we do graze some of those Stalkers. We connect with the Colossi, but these Disruptors are exposed. 1 Disruptor did go down. Another Nova does connect with those Zealots. Good connections. But the Disruptors are on cooldown. 1, 2 of them go down. 3 of them. There's 1 left. Only 1 left. And Creator, it looks like he has far too much. He's snowballing out of control. Not enough Novas here for NightMare. We do have some DT harass across the map. Probes are going down, but this death ball of an army is just too much to handle. And Creator, it looks like he has done it. He collapses on the army, snipes another disruptor. And Creator is going to be forcing a tied series. Is going to be putting a point on the board. He's snowballing out of control again. There's only Stalkers to stop him. That's not good enough. Not anymore. Creator even has the better upgrades with +1 armor. And NightMare is being forced further and further back into that corner of the map. There is no escape. Not anymore. Stalker's going down. Zealous, they come in from behind, but we have Colossus to deal with that. And GG gets called. Creator, he ties up the series 1-1. We have it back and forth. GG. GG, well played. A very chaotic, a very back and forth game. We started things off with Dark Templar into almost a base trade, into just non-stop aggression. Once we got into, of course, the 4-base economy. And Creator, he was able to eventually outposition his opponent, get a surround. I do think the moment when NightMare lost a lot of momentum was when he got surrounded on the right-hand side, when he did overstay his welcome, and he lost so many Stalkers as he tried to recall back home. Without those Stalkers, he has less to protect his Disruptors, of course, as well. He lost a lot of supply in that moment, and yeah, was forced back. And Creator ties it up 1-1. We're getting ready for game number 3. It's going to be on Equilibrium. Let's go. It's going to be on Equilibrium. Did I miss the notification? I did. Here we go. A big shout to Complete Noob in the chat for resubscribing with Twitch Prime for 6 months. Gracias, papi, gracias. Thank you so much for the Twitch Prime, Complete Noob. We do appreciate the support as always, and I hope you enjoy the content. Hope you enjoy the streams. I mentioned before that we did go on a 4-day break, the longest break we've ever had ever since 2022. So we did take a 4-day break, and it's good to be back. It's good to return to our regular casting schedule. Let's go. And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Equilibrium, we have our Red Protoss player representing Club NV, tying up the series 1-1 in that last game. It is Creator. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have the Blue Protoss, representing himself, currently teamless, but referred to by many as having the best PvP in Korea. But stumbling a little bit here in these finals. Can he gather his footing? Can he get his footing here? Can he fight back? It is NightMare. Here we go. So probes, they do pass by each other. We're loading into another larger map. I'm surprised this wasn't vetoed. Now, Equilibrium can be a really odd one. There's a lot of bases. A lot of bases to be taken. As a result, we have seen a lot of macro play. But in a PvP, these gold bases are very tempting. Very tempting gold bases. As a result, we have seen a lot of players try to rush into them. Players like Hero, players like Classic. They are more than willing to rush into a fast gold and try to go for a 2-base all-in from there. We'll see if NightMare and Creator are one to embrace that as well. We shall see. As for now, we're just going to be scouting each other. Once again, no proxy pylon. Both pylons have been thrown down in the main base of both NightMare and Creator. There is no cheese, no proxy, at least initially. All-ins are possible, but for now at least, they're not. For now, everything's on the up and up. We do have a double Adept opener out of Creator, double Stalker out of NightMare. Sorry, other way around. Double Stalker out of Creator, double Adept out of NightMare. My apologies. So NightMare opening up aggressively once again. He did the same opener in the last game. Gonna be in the face of Creator. As Creator, he locks the probe in. And we'll be able to recall back home. Can we save the probe? Can we hide it? And we will not. As Creator's on the hunt, he does come across the probe. And he will shut it down. Probe does fall. Behind this, NightMare going to be expanding. Creator, he goes for a delayed expansion. He's going for a Stargate first. Now, this is not all in. Again, he should still take his natural. The Stargate opener will lead towards oracles. Remember, last game on hard lead, Creator opened up single oracle into DTs. Here on Equilibrium, we should be seeing multiple oracles. Should be. As we do see the first oracle on the way, it's going to be an expansion into a Twilight Council, so a faster economy here for NightMare into Blink. Pretty standard economic play here from him, as the Adepts do move out across the map. Meanwhile, Creator threading a shade towards the main base. We do wall off in time. Good reaction so far here from NightMare. Does wall off. Adepts are coming back home. Oh, we're trying to collapse on top of this army. Good positioning here from NightMare. He does actually commit to the shade. Does focus down an Adept. Trading 1 for 1. Oh, trading 1. Doesn't lose his own, though. A much better fight for NightMare, but he does waste the force field. That is a little bit scary. So, because of that wasted force field, that means we have to wait a little bit longer before we can scout. Remember, we don't have enough energy for hallucination. We need a little bit more time. And Creator behind this, thankfully, isn't hiding any tech. But NightMare doesn't know. NightMare does not know. Did he scout the Stargate? He didn't. Uh-oh. Isn't even fully aware of the Stargate opener. But did come across that oracle. So NightMare is getting in position. He has a shield battery in the main base. Has Stalkers here at the natural. We are ready for the oracle. Now, looking at the units tab here, of course, we do have two. Two oracles are out for Creator. As we assumed, it would be double oracle from our Protoss player. This time, no Dark Shrine. Here we go. This Creator is going to be building up. Third base on the way for NightMare. Ooh, a couple of probes do go down to the oracles, but we trade. Not a good trade for Creator. He will be losing an oracle for 2 probes. Not a worthwhile trade here for our red Protoss. But behind this, we're working towards our third base. And we at least keep 1 oracle alive. Has potential for stasis traps, for example. For revelations, for scouting. We can still gain value from this oracle, but killing probes isn't really an option anymore, as we have to recall. Oh my god. NightMare, calm down. As he shoots his own Stalker for a moment. Back at home, pylon on the way, additional gateways. Next side being thrown down. And we may be in for another long one. I mean, again, Equilibrium leads towards that. Because the gold bases weren't prioritized, because of how large this map is, we could get into our 3rd game in a row, Disruptor versus Disruptor. It's really interesting to see how these two face off, and it makes sense. I do refer to Creator as the Korean Showtime. Not as extreme as Showtime when it comes to how defensive he is, but Creator is the most passive and defensive and macro-oriented Protoss in the Korean region, period. Like, Hero and Classic are much more aggressive, so is NightMare. They're all just a lot more active and in your face. Creator, he's a little more chill and calm. That is reflected in a lot of his matchups. Meanwhile, he does find his way across the map, does blink into the main. Is going for that blink. We have a gateway explosion on the way. NightMare in position with only a handful of Stalkers. And NightMare, he has to rotate all the way back to his main base. The Forge is going to be denied. Big pick off. Forge goes down, +1. Of course, has to be rebuilt. Oh, NightMare. Key Knight is out of NightMare. He does avoid that stasis trap, but at the same time, it saves do shade into the third base. Probes are going down. NightMare still maintains a worker lead, but not as large as it once was. Creator rotating towards the natural. Does rotate over. NightMare catches out a couple of stalkers. Good blinks out of Creator. Does save most, not all. Yes, NightMare, he's on the hunt. He wants to chase Creator down. So many of these stalkers are so low. One of us. 2 more stalkers go down. Overall, better trades here for NightMare. Losing 5 stalkers to the 9 of Creator. Ay, ay, ay. Now, Creator does have a proxy gateway, so he's going to be committing. Late forge here from NightMare. It took a while to rebuild. But Creator's doubling down. He's up to 8 gateways already. 9 gateways even. Oh, sorry, 8 gates. Yeah, 9 gates. Is pushing forward, but into shield batteries, into a would-be overcharge. NightMare does force back the army. Creator rotates over towards the gold. Doesn't commit. And Creator, he will bleed out a lot of units. Yeah, Zelts go down, stalkers as well. And with these Zealot reinforcements, I mean, Creator does have, I would say, a better army if it wasn't for these Archons. That's the problem here. NightMare, he has 2 Archons here in the back line. Ready to engage. As I say, that good target firing out of Creator. Gets 1 Archon, gets the Immortal, gets a 2nd Archon as well, but he's bleeding out so many units. NightMare, he's holding. With the defender's advantage, NightMare, he's barely holding on, forces back the army of Creator. And Creator's pretty all in. He's pretty all in here. The slow lots are coming in for NightMare. They're helping, to be fair. They're doing their job. Creator is being forced further and further back towards his reinforcement points. And NightMare, the numbers, they don't lie, they're in his favor. Forces Creator back even further. More Archons being morphed in. Yeah, the Zealots, they're melting. And it looks like NightMare has too much. He's got the goal base behind us. That's why Creator's all in. He needs to end the game here and now, but he just cannot. He cannot break through. Charge is now done. And we're running out of stalkers, running out of room, being forced further and further back. The reinforcement point is now compromised, but we ignore it. There we go. We chase down another stalker. We collapse here on top of the gateway. And what does Creator have behind this? No additional gases here. He's stuck on 3 bases. He's on 9 gates. No forge, no +1. He was 3 base all in and barely did not work. It was close. He almost broke through. But NightMare having the wherewithal to invest into Archons, to invest into that higher form of tech, did pay off. Not just that, the shield batteries, the overcharge, he was ready for the assault. NightMare, he weathered the storm. And now Creator, things are looking brutal. Things are looking rough for him. He does avoid the army. He does actually outposition NightMare. He gets into the natural. But NightMare is coming in from behind. Comes in from behind. Collapses here on these stalkers. Gets what? 3, 4 stalkers go down. GG gets called again. There's nothing left. And NightMare will take a lead in the series 2-1. GG. GG, well played. NightMare able to survive the all-in from Creator and get away with so much. The 4th base, the gold, the saturation, the Templar Archives, the Archons, the +1 eventually. And with that, NightMare, he is 1 game away. 1 game away from becoming this week's ESL Open Cup champion. Creator, he needs to fight back here and now to tie things up and to force the ace match. The pressure is on Creator. And NightMare, he has a little bit of wiggle room, a little bit of breathing room here. He can afford a map. Do we throw caution to the wind? We, again, in this series, it's been very passive. We've seen a lot of like 3-base, even 4-base play between these two players. Now we're loading into Oceanborn. This is not a bad map for a 2-base all-in. Or even a 1-base all-in. It's quite common, actually. Quite common. It is quite common. So we'll see how our players do compare here. I did just mention Oceanborn is up next. Oceanborn has a very vulnerable natural and even third base, which is why aggression is so commonplace on this. Short rush distance by ground as well. We'll see. Again, if I was casting classic or hero, 100% 1-base all in. You know, we just commit. We send it, Pop. We send it. But Creator and NightMare, they've been going for more macro-oriented games, more mid-game, even mid to late game kind of scenarios here, or outlooks in this PvP. So I'm curious. I am curious what our plans are coming into this. Again, no more mistakes are possible for Creator. Winding it back, if you remember, his Stargate opener was lackluster. Remember, he committed to double Oracle. He killed 2 probes. Killed 2 probes with his double Oracle. It wasn't really worth it. It was a lot of investment into a Stargate that didn't really come to fruition. Likewise, of course, he did end up bleeding out a couple of units here, leading in towards the eventual 3-base all-in. Did snipe the Forge, which was good, don't get me wrong. It was a beautiful moment when he sniped the Forge. Yeah, alas, the kill move just wasn't quite able to kill, right? Just wasn't able to take advantage of that situation. Was hoping to catch NightMare being too greedy. NightMare was being greedy, but got away with it. Got away with it in the end. And now here we go. We're getting into game number 4. Potentially the final game of the series. I would want this to keep going. I want a longer series. I want a back and forth. I want an ace match. It's not up to me. It's up to the players. It's up to Creator. And here he is spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Oceanborn. We have our red Protoss player representing Club NV down in this series. He needs to win this game to force the ace match. Give it up for Creator. And spawning in the top left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the blue Protoss player representing himself. He is teamless, but he deserves to be on a team. He has arguably the best PvP in South Korea. 1 game away from becoming our champion. It is NightMare. Here we go. Okay, so as we load into Oceanborn, I did mention earlier, of course, that this is known for aggression. This is known for all-ins. We have seen a lot of short games on this map, but we'll see if that trend continues. We'll see if the trend does continue here. We'll see what our players have in store for us as we load in Under the Sea. Here we go. For now, we are going for 2 gate openers. Double gate opener here out of NightMare, double gateways out of Creator. Pylons are on the way. They are settling into this. Waiting for our first 2 units of choice, and they should be Adepts from NightMare again. He's been going double Adept for quite some time. And there it is, double Adept at NightMare, 3 games in a row. As to be expected, just committing here, just sticking to his guns. Meanwhile, we do see Creator going for something different, going for a Stalker Sentry opener. Okay, interesting. Very passive opener out of Creator, very defensive. With this, of course, he gains a lot of scouting information with that initial Sentry. It makes sense. So I spoke about the reputation of this map. I spoke about how very often we have all-ins on Oceanborn. That's why Creator is opening up with such an early sentry to scout. Unfortunately for Creator, NightMare isn't really doing anything out of the norm yet. There's a pylon block here at the natural base though, forcing a different opener, and that is going to be a Robo. At the same time, Creator opening up with a third gateway. Oh boy, Creator, he's setting up for an all-in. NightMare, though, with that faster Robo, can set up defensively quite well with early Immortal production. We'll see if NightMare commits. We'll see if we throw down a third gateway as well, and we could be seeing a one base versus one base game. Nope. There we go. No third gateway. We throw down a Nexus. NightMare is going to be the defender. Creator is going to be the aggressor. Now, again, really good read here out of NightMare, going for the faster Robo. Hallucination does confirm. So, Creator, he should be now aware of the Immortal production of NightMare. But Creator, he already has a proxy pylon. He's already committing. There's no turning back. There is no turning back for Creator. Third gateway gets up and running. We can proxy a fourth gateway across the map. Stalkers are on the way. And NightMare is still in the dark. He's applying pressure with some of these Stalkers. That does get the sentry. Uh-oh. Gets the sentry. Trades 1-for-1 with the Stalkers. And he will collapse on top of another Stalker as well. And it looks like NightMare, he's barely breaking through. Snowballing out of control. Gets another Stalker as well. But here comes the main army of Creator. And NightMare is supply blocked. No shot. He is supply blocked. The Robo not producing an Immortal. He has a Prism instead. He can juggle. Good control so far. Does recall back home. The Prism juggling coming in clutch, but he wasn't able to wall off. And we do get on top of the Nexus. Can we force a kill? There we go. Immortal is in production for NightMare. The Shade gets in. Shade does get into the main base. The Adepts, they do commit. NightMare focusing on the main assault instead, but Stalkers are going down. Creator, numbers are on his side. The juggling, looking decent here from NightMare. But he's being overwhelmed. He's running out of Stalkers. Another Stalker goes down. Again, Creator, he is ahead in production. He has an overwhelming Stalker army, but here comes the Immortal. And the Immortal does force back the army. Creator, he's still one base all in, by the way. No expansion. And NightMare, have we overextended? Oh my god! He moves up so far here onto the map with 3 units. The Prism goes down. He's going to be losing everything, but he does take down a lot of Stalkers in the process. Oh my god, the trades are insane. He kills 11 Stalkers, but he loses 9 of his own. 3 Stalkers do survive. Creator, he keeps on pushing, and we have reset the Immortal count. We lost the Prism. NightMare, he was assuming that Creator was transitioning. He was not aware of the all-in. It looks like Creator, he may have done it. Immortal does come out. Can Creator break through? Shield batteries on the way. We have sentries, we have force fields. It's going to be a tight defense here for NightMare. Second Immortal in production. We just need to keep on pumping out Immortals. He still only has 2 gateways. Creator is expanding. Ooh, he's transitioning. He's getting out of the all-in. NightMare still not fully aware. He could go for Hallucination. It's risky though. Like, do we go for Hallucination at risk of not having a force field? And force field's a king in the early game just because there's no blink. Army has arrived. This time we do deny the Shade into the main. Creator getting his base up and running, focusing on probe production. And there it is. Prism is moving out across the map for NightMare. He's going to be scouting and he's going to be threatening the economy here of Creator. Creator rushing into a bay, working towards disruptors. Crazy. The Prisms will miss each other. NightMare, he slips into the main base, gets eyes on the third gateway, of course, which he already knew about. Tries to get behind the mineral line, and it looks like he will not scout that bay. He also doesn't confirm the Nexus. But he is making workers. He's producing probes. At depths, once again, they do get into the main base. They get a couple of probes. Oh, 4 probes go down. At the same time, Creator also slips into the main base of NightMare. There is an Immortal to defend. NightMare doesn't take any damage, but NightMare doesn't know that Creator is producing disruptors. Disruptors are coming out. And they can get Creator, of course, back into this. I mean, I say back into this, the game is stabilizing. The game is stabilizing. Pylon goes down. Pylon does fall. Twilight Council on the way for Blink production, of course. Meanwhile, we have our disruptors. We have the Prism. And we should be going for disruptor drops. Ooh, that is a 4th gateway, by the way. So Creator, instead of throwing down a 3rd base, we are doubling down here on 2 bases. Did I say a 4th gateway? That's a 5th. That's a 5th gateway. This looks like a 2-base all-in at a Creator. From 1 base into a 2-base all-in. The aggression not stopping here for Creator. NightMare doesn't know. He's going for his own Immortal drop across the map instead. Meanwhile, Stalkers are in position. Prism comes in. Oh, is zoned away. We don't know what's in the Prism, but we at least force it back. Again, NightMare still not scouting that bay. Still doesn't know. But now he does. Here we go. Big scout for NightMare. Now is aware of the disruptors. And I feel like he needs to come back home. He's crippling the economy, but Creator, he was already all in. He was already all in anyway. He's pushing towards the natural base here of NightMare. Looking at the army size, Creator does have the supply lead, but he's pushing into shield batteries, into overcharge. But we have disruptors and there's no blink. Nova does connect. Big Nova here in the army as well. Takes down sentries, takes down stalkers. But we have the overcharge. And again, without blink, force fields do so much. Oh, 1 adept does make it into the main. Would you commit? We do commit to the shade. Another Nova going off here. Blink is done. Blink finishes up just in time. NightMare, he dives on top of the Immortal, dives on top of the army. And it looks like NightMare, he will hold. He will clean this up. GG gets called. The all-in will fail, and NightMare takes the series 3-1, flexing his PvP. Again, the best PvP in Korea. NightMare does it. He is our ESL Open Cup Asia 214 champion. GG. GG, well played. I was concerned that because we didn't scout the robotics bay, I was concerned that that disruptor drop was going to get more damage done. But it did 0 damage. NightMare didn't even know what was inside the prism, but he was in position, he zoned it away, and Creator, he wasn't able to make use of those disruptors as often as he would have liked. He used them in the main fight, but he could have used them earlier, but he was denied. As a result, NightMare, he had a solid economy, he had a solid production, he was able to build up, able to take a solid defensive stance. Of course, forced the all-in, forced the attack when he was doing so much damage across the map, and the Novas weren't good enough. They were okay, don't get me wrong, they were okay Novas, but they just barely were not enough. Creator's economy was just too far behind, too crippled, and NightMare was able to hold on, to weather the storm, and to defend. GG. GG, well played. GG, and oh, sorry, I should update the score. And again, it was also brutal just because Creator was so committed earlier. He wasn't really, again, he wasn't really ready for a longer game either because of the initial 1 base all in. So it's always difficult to transition out of that and to get into a longer game. Creator, of course, he made the decision not to go for a macro game. He made the decision to transition into a 2 base all in from there. again, just was not able to work out in time, was scattered, was shut down. With that, GG, well played. And with that, congratulations. Congratulations to NightMare, of course, for becoming our champion this week. Again, we mentioned it before, but this weekly was like designed for him. It was designed for him. Recently, he has been beating players like Hero and Classic quite consistently. I mean, he even beat Classic here in this tournament as well. I do see people posting in the chats, but again, like if you've been watching recent tournaments, you would know that NightMare has been more dominant over Hero and Classic in recent times. And, I mean, yeah, was at least able to 2-0 Classic again this week. Likewise, take down Creator as well. So very well done to NightMare. Again, he's an amazing player. Very unfortunate that he's teamless. Very unfortunate that NightMare is without a team. And hopefully he can find a team for the next season of WTL. Again, NightMare, he very much so deserves to be supported. But we'll see. We'll see if a team is able to pick him up and are able to get him on a roster. Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. And with that, that does conclude our weekly Asia Cup for the 214th week here. But we have more to come. We have ESL Open Cup Americas and ESL Open Cup Europe. For maybe people that are tuning in for the first time, these Open Cups are open. They're not region locked, but they are server based. So, you know, as well as they have time zones dedicated to favor certain regions of the world. We have our Asia Cup initially, and in a couple of hours, in 5 hours time, we have the European Open Cup as well. And we should be there to cover that. In those 5 hours. The one event that we won't be casting is the Americas Open Cup, because that is just it's at a rough time. It's at a very bad time for European coverage, and I am currently in Poland, so we won't be able to get into that, unfortunately. And yeah, with that, we are going to be getting and settling into the European Cup thereafter. So yeah, from here we're going to be going on a short break. 5 hours time, we'll be back. We'll be back with our next broadcast. See you then. See you then. Otherwise, hope you enjoyed it. Hope you had a great time here. Hope you had a great weekend watching IM Katowice. It was amazing. It was beautiful. It's all that you do want to see. So yeah, it was there. And I highly recommend checking out the VODs. I was fortunate enough to be there. Again, I'm really appreciative to the people that were there as well. I was able to meet up with the casters, with the admin team, with the production, and they were gracious enough to give me a gift as well. It's on social media if you're interested. But I got an ESL shirt with signatures from everyone involved, basically, from everyone, from the admin team, from the players, from the English coverage, from the Polish coverage. It was really cool. I really do appreciate it, and I will cherish it. I will cherish the memories and cherish the shirt as best I can. I mean, I have to frame it now. I have to frame it for my first premiere event, for my first IM Katowice. I have to frame it and I have to take care of it. Of course, I'll find it. I'll post it in the chat. But it was really cool meeting up with everyone. I think I spoke about this, but I may as well say it here on stream as well. I was so shocked when I was meeting the players and when they knew who I was. I was so shocked because obviously I interact a lot with the foreign players, so they knew me. They were a lot more familiar, like players like Trigger and Kellizer and Skillis. I was shocked when some of the Koreans knew me, just because we cast in English, right? We cast in English. Shout out to Shin. He was like, oh, I'm like I didn't even say anything. I didn't introduce myself to any of the players. I didn't want to be that presumptuous. I never introduced myself to any of the players. But Shin, as soon as he saw me, he was like, oh, caster. Shin was like, I'm like, yeah, do you watch? He's like, CranKy Ducklings. I'm like, yeah, that's me. And so he said he was a fan, which was really cute. Hero was the same. He was like, oh, Uh, he's like, he said, I love your smile. You have a really good smile. I'm like, oh, Papi, oh, you have a good smile. You have a good smile. So Hero was complimenting me, and he also recognized me as a caster. Shout out to Solar makes more sense because he speaks good English. But shout out to Solar. He referred to me as the Papi guy. Didn't even say Papi caster. He's like, oh, you're the Papi guy. I'm like, yes, that's me, Papi. And as soon as he heard that, his ears melted. He's like, oh, you have a beautiful voice, Papi, a beautiful voice. And I said it for him. It was crazy. It was beautiful. I think those are the only three, if I'm not mistaken. When it comes to the Korean players, the others, of course, I introduced myself, but they didn't quite. I mean, again, I didn't mention my name, or I didn't mention the CranKy Ducklings. I'm sure if I did, I'm sure they would recognize it just because I cast them on a regular basis. And they'd be like, oh, yeah, I know, you should join my lobby. you join my lobby every day. Yeah, it was Shin, Solar, and Hero who initiated and who did recognize me, which was really cool. Outside of that, of course, it was really cool meeting all the other talents at IM, all the other players as well. Even like I didn't expect Cyril to recognize me, just because he's not active in the chat, and we don't even get to cast Cyril too often. When it comes to European events and European players, and because Cyril doesn't really play in online cups, we don't really get to cover Cyril too much. So I was a little bit surprised that he recognized me, which was really cool. I felt very appreciative when he was like, oh, you're Lights, right? I'm like, yeah, you didn't even call me the Papi caster. He knew my name. Did recognize me from the CranKy Ducklings as well, which was really cool. We were able to meet for the first time. And of course everyone else involved as well. Hold on, I'll post the shirt. A lot of signatures, Papi, a lot of signatures. They got a shirt. Should have been pants. True. I mean, they knew that I wouldn't wear it. That's the thing. They knew, Papi. They knew. And yeah, with that, I think we're with that, I think we're done for today. When it comes to IM, I don't really know if I have many stories. Like I was just really there to watch, to experience the event from the crowd. The crowd was great, by the way. I think that was like the best part of IM was being immersed in the crowd and the audience, and they were so hyped for so many of the players and so many of the matches as well. A lot of Hero fans, a lot of Clem fans, Cyril, Maru as well. Like the crowd would go crazy when like certain plays would be made and stuff like that. I don't know if the mic could pick up the crowd. If the like I obviously I didn't get to tune into any of the streams, so I don't know if the mic could pick up the crowd. But yeah, it was wild, Papi. It was wild. It was really cool to be there. Packed audience, lines going out the door to get inside, which is unfortunate. It's unfortunate that there were people there that weren't able to experience the event themselves. That is a little bit sad, that there wasn't enough room for everyone. Maybe in the future, it's possible that maybe StarCraft would be a part of the Spodek Arena again. Maybe it's hard to say. Like, clearly there's interest for more people than the auditorium has to pack. For those wondering, basically you have the main Spodek Arena, which StarCraft wasn't at. StarCraft was off to the side in its own auditorium, basically. And it was, it was really cool, it was really cozy, and it was packed. But clearly, we could do with some more room. But we're in this weird like middle ground where we could probably fill up more than the auditorium, but we probably wouldn't fill up the Spodek Arena. That's why StarCraft was moved out of the arena, just because there just wasn't enough of a crowd there. So we need a nice in between. That would be the ideal. But we'll see. We'll see what happens in future years. We'll see what happens in the upcoming 2025 and onwards. Outside of that, it's really cool to meet a bunch of people that I've otherwise only known online. I tweeted about it as well. I had my first autograph request where I had to sign some mouse pads for the first time, and I messed up because I've never had to autograph before, right? Because I was able to meet a bunch of fans. I was also really excited to meet people that recognize me. Like people, like I'd be like standing in line, or I'd be going to get food, and then people would recognize me, and I'm like, oh my god, they'd come up. I had to autograph for the first time, and I just did my regular signature, which is my name, right? It's obviously it's in cursive and it's my signature, but I realized that it by no means reflects like my online ID, live VIP. So I should probably have like a separate signature for that, and I'm not prepared for that. So I guess for the next event, if I ever go to another offline event, I'm gonna have to work on my signature for that kind of scenario. So yeah, I was woefully underprepared for that, but there are fans out there now with my signature. That's true. So it was really cool to run into people from like the Americas, from other parts of Europe as well, people that have traveled far, and telling me how appreciative they are of like my casting and what I do and stuff like that. Yeah, it was really surreal. It was really surreal to run into fans like that. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful moment. And of course, the event itself was great as well. I was cheering hard for Hero. I was cheering for Hero. He had a great series, but a brutal end. We don't have to talk about it, but Hero versus Cure on Golden Ore was brutal, especially after hard lead. Yo, if you're watching, okay, no spoilers, but if you missed out, I highly recommend watching Hero versus Cure, especially the hard game map. I think it was like, that was map 3, if I'm not mistaken, 2 or 3 on hardlead. That was crazy. Like the crowd was going wild for Hero with what he was able to pull off. Like that was just, oh my god. But the roller coaster ride of emotions from hardlead to Golden Ore. Golden Ore was so sad. Like, oh my god, that was heartbreaking. Like so many of us was so, it was such a brutal moment. And yeah, much love to Hero. Like unfortunately his run ended there, but potentially could have gone further. Potentially could have gone much further as well. Yeah. All right, sorry, predictions. Almost didn't do the predictions. My apologies. So your predictions have been paid out. We're in Poland. I am in Poland. He's so dedicated, he doesn't stop casting just because he's across the world. Exactly. You can't stop me. You can't stop me from casting. But yeah, with that, I guess we're done for night. We're done for now. Fun fact, I'm gonna go sleep. Fun fact, I'm gonna go to bed. We do have ESL Open Cup Europe in 5 hours, in just under 5 hours time. I need to get some rest. I need to get some sleep. I'm gonna have a quick power nap before getting ready for ESL Europe. I didn't sleep much, right? It's like IM Katowice ended, went back to the hotel. We got a couple of hours sleep before traveling back to where I am now. So yeah, we got yeah. I still have to unpack, and I still have to like, do a bunch of laundry and get everything going, and there's a lot to do. There's a lot to settle back into. But we'll be back in 5 hours with some ESL Open Cup Europe. Look forward to it. Also, a shout out to, for those that are wondering, there were even some players that were traveling. A shout out to Astra. Astra was there. He was in the crowd. There were a couple of crowd shots where you could see Astra. He was in the 3D Clan jersey. We also had Zane. Zane was there. Papi was there. Geralt was there. A Laser was there. Yeah, it was really cool to see Eon Blue, like a bunch of players traveling from around Europe, from around the country, to be a part of IM Katowice. So yeah, it was just a great celebration of StarCraft. Great celebration. And then with that, we're done. We're done for tonight. We're done for the time being. We'll be back in 5 hours. Until then, enjoy yourselves. Watch the VODs. Watch IM Katowice. Immerse yourself in all the StarCraft. We'll be back later on tonight with ESL Open Cup Europe. See you then. Until then, hasta luego. Bye, papi, bye. Hasta luego, papi, hasta luego.